new clothes for the date. Nanami can't believe that he came to buy new clothes just for the date, and Yaoshin mentions that he could never wear this next to her. When Nanami tries to refuse, Ayumi tells her to let him look good, and with that being said, the three of them walk away. But before leaving, Nanami asks which version of her he wants to see tomorrow, and Yaoshin replies that he'll be happy no matter whatever she wears. Eventually, it's Sunday, and the two of them meet up for their very first date. Yaoshin decides to properly thank Baron, as his outfit from before was a total disaster, and he knows he needs to be better if he wants to stand by her side. Following that, Nanami asks if this outfit looks good on her, which reminds him that he forgot to compliment her first. Nonetheless, he lets Nanami know that the outfit looks really cute on her. This causes her to smile and tell Yaoshin that she already knows, followed by her walking away with a bright smile on her face. After arriving at the theater, Yaoshin asks if he'll be okay considering he hasn't seen the prequels of this movie, and Nanami agrees, saying that she got into it midway as well. He then finds out that there are more than 20 prequels of the movie, something he can't catch up to in only 2 days. Furthermore, Nanami mentions that they can watch it together if he gets hooked, later joking that she'll still love to watch it together, even if he doesn't like it. This makes Yaoshin think that a month might be too short for it, and wonders why she is going so far for a punishment game. She then asks if he prefers watching movies alone, and he disagrees, deciding to focus on the date instead of getting depressed. He then lets her know that it'd be hard to get into it with them being alone, and mentions that as there's a lot of those movies, it might take them over a month to finish them. This catches her by surprise, and Yaoshin realizes that he got carried away thinking about the punishment game. However, Nanami lets him know that even if it takes a long time, they'll still be together by the time they finish. This makes Yaoshin question what they will do once they are finished, to which Nanami replies that it's fine, and not like anything will change between them. Furthermore, she tells Yaoshin that they are always releasing stuff, and will be releasing something next year as well. This makes Yaoshin figure that they'll always be together, and after hearing this statement, Nanami asks if he really never had a girlfriend, as from returning the favor and buying new clothes, he seems used to it. Yaoshin instantly refuses and shamefully admits that he was planning on coming there with an all-black outfit, but Shibsu knocked some sense into him by calling him a ninja. Nanami jokingly asks if he saved them yesterday with her ninja moves, and Yaoshin replies that he would have come to her rescue in a flashier way if he was a ninja. After arriving at their seats, Nanami asks if he really doesn't want her to pay at least half, and Yaoshin agrees, saying that it's thanks to her for making all those bentos. He then mentions that it wouldn't be a payback if he makes her pay as well, and starts thinking that he intends to pay for everything in the first place. Soon after, when the movie is about to start, Yaoshin looks at Nanami and lets her know that he's looking forward to it, and she agrees, while all Yaoshin thinks is how beautiful she looks. After the movie starts, they both get impressed seeing the romance between the dollar store Captain America and his baddie. Before long, things start escalating, and the two of them start getting closer. Yaoshin starts to notice that this is not just a confession, and at this rate, cheeks might get clapped as well. At the same time, he begins to wonder what Nanami looks like right now, and coincidentally, both of them end up looking at each other. She mentions that it's kind of embarrassing, which makes him laugh, as it's obvious for Nanami to think something like that. She then puts her hand on his, catching him by surprise. Due to embarrassment, she instantly takes her hand away, but ends up putting it on his hand once again. After the movie ends, Nanami mentions that this is what being on the edge of your seat is like, and starts commenting on how touching the last scene was. Yaoshin mentions that he didn't get a few scenes, and when Nanami agrees to this, Yaoshin replies that he didn't expect it, as she seemed to have enjoyed it. This makes Nanami question if he was watching her instead of the movie, and realizing that he's been found out, he confesses that his eyes were wandering off because of how close they were. With that being said, he suggests grabbing some food after doing some window shopping. However, they find out that all the restaurants are closed, as it's already pretty late. When Nanami asks him about dinner, Yaoshin informs her that he might get something delivered as his parents are away. Nanami mentions that it's pretty unhealthy, to which Yaoshin replies that he's not good at cooking, and ordering just once should be fine. This causes Nanami to suggest coming to his house and making him dinner. Before long, he finds Nanami at his house, sitting across the table, making gyozas with him. She mentions that she wanted to put the fillings in, but it takes so long to wrap them, so she really appreciates his help. Additionally, Nanami says that making gyozas together makes them look like a married couple, which ends up making Yaoshin flustered. But he decides not to get carried away and focuses on wrapping the gyozas. He then takes a look at the gyozas and calls her pretty, which comes as a shock to her. Turns out he is calling the gyozas she made pretty, and Nanami replies that he's doing pretty good compared to her dad, who always ends up overfilling them. Eventually, they decide to fry the gyozas up, and after they are done, Nanami suggests adding some bacon to the sauce. Ultimately, it's time for them to eat, and considering that Yaoshin's parents are away, it feels like the two of them are eating as a family. He is really happy that he got to experience this at his own house, and after taking a bite, Yaoshin instantly compliments her for making such tasty gyozas. Following that, he gets up to get a second serving, but Nanami ends up taking this role, and advises him to eat a lot. After they are done eating, Yaoshin offers to walk her back home, saying that he can't let a girl go home alone at this kind of time. With that being said, the two of them are on their way to Nanami's house, holding hands and talking about the gyozas they just made. Yaoshin mentions that he really loved cooking together, which is something Nanami seems to appreciate. Eventually, they arrive at her neighborhood when out of nowhere, a giant buff dude appears behind them. Yaoshin gets freaked out and tries protecting Nanami and quickly realizes that Shibzu's height and muscles are nothing compared to his. But before anything happens, Nanami ends up calling that person her dad while he questions her about the boy next to her. Following that, the two of them end up going to Nanami's house. Both her mother and little sister are surprised to see her bring a boy home for the first time. Yaoshin, also seeing her mother and sister for the first time, notices that they look similar to Nanami as well. Her sister then mentions that Yaoshin is a perfect fit for her considering how dull and non-violent he seems. Nanami questions why they are acting this way as she hasn't said anything, to which her mother replies that she always looked happy making those bentos, while her sister mentions that she never puts makeup on when she goes to her friend's house. Nanami can't believe they noticed that and tell them to stop. Just then, her father enters the house, telling them to give Nanami a break and ask Yaoshin and Nanami to come with him. Both her mother and sister are surprised to see her mother with the two of them, and before anything happens, Yaoshin apologizes for bringing their daughter back home so late and takes all the responsibility, asking them not to be so harsh with her. But her father decides to settle all of this inside, asking him to leave that sort of talk for later. Yaoshin agrees with what he said and decides to finally introduce himself as Nanami's boyfriend. Her mother also introduces herself as Tomoko and her sister as Seiya. Additionally, her father then introduces himself as Genokairu, telling Yaoshin that it's nice to meet him. After shaking each other's hand, the three of them sit at the table and explain everything that happened. Genokairu then asks Nanami if she knows why he's angry, and she wonders if it's because she didn't tell them about her boyfriend. But Genokairu refuses and mentions that he's actually delighted to know that she has a boyfriend, given her circumstances. Her mother adds that she thinks the same way, which makes Yaoshin think that they more or less recognize them. But when Nanami asks the reason he's mad, Genokairu tells her that it's because she lied to them. The whole punishment game being a lie enters Yaoshin's mind, and her father adds that even though he's okay with her lying to go on a date, spending the night at a boy's house is unacceptable. Tomoko also mentions that they would have let her go if she told him about making dinner for Yaoshin. But Genokairu can't help but think what freaky stuff could have taken place if she had decided to stay overnight. However, he apologizes for being inappropriate and mentions that nothing makes him happier than his daughter finally getting herself a boyfriend. However, Nanami doesn't buy any of this and tells Genokairu that it's because he always says stuff like that. Genokairu, confused, tells Nanami to calm down, but Nanami mentions that she didn't want to tell him about Yaoshin because he always says weird stuff. Genokairu once again asks her to calm down and says that he doesn't recall saying anything about her relationship. This makes Nanami remind Genokairu that he said he won't recognize her boyfriend until they are as strong as him. This catches Yaoshin by surprise, and when he asks if he needs to beat her dad, Nanami agrees. Yaoshin replies that there's no way for him to beat a barbaric man like Genokairu and wonders what's the point of going so far for a punishment game. Furthermore, he believes that this is the perfect excuse to call it off, but ends up remembering all the stuff they did the past week and all the memories they made. This wakes up the inner Sigma Wolf, causing him to get up and give Nanami a hug, letting her know that he will take on any challenge and won't let them separate. His statement brings tears into her eyes, and she hugs him back while thanking Yaoshin. Her mother comments on how jealous she is, reminding Yaoshin that he totally forgot about her parents. Following that, Genokairu apologizes and asks if he really said something like that. Nanami gets even more furious and slams her hand on the table. At the same time, Tomoko gets angry as well and asks how Genokairu could not remember the things he said on his own. Terrified, Genokairu explains that he's not trying to play dumb and really doesn't remember when he said that. Nanami reminds him that it happened years ago when Hatsumi's brother came to drink with him. Genokairu then thinks hard and finally remembers that he said something similar. However, he let Nanami know that he was only trying to cheer her brother up as he was quite worried about all the boys trying to hit on his sister. So Genokairu told him that if it were him, he'd only recognize them if they could beat him. Nanami questions if he really gave him that advice and Genokairu agrees, saying that there's no way he'd say anything like that about the two of them. Nanami finally calms down and asks if there is no reason for him and Yaoshin to fight, and her father swears on his meat armor and his busty wife. He further tells Nanami that he didn't train this hard just to beat people, which comes as a surprise to Yaoshin. Genokairu tells Yaoshin not to be so formal and call him by his name. Yaoshin then questions if isn't some kind of martial artist, but he replies that he's just an average salary man. Yaoshin lets Genokairu know that he also trains but can't seem to outgrow his current muscles. Nanami also adds that Yaoshin's abs are a bit defined while Genokairu's are more on the bulky side. This causes everyone to become silent, and Nanami is a little late to realize what she just said. Furious, Genokairu asks how his daughter has seen him unclothed and wonders if her field is already cultivated. Nanami instantly refuses, telling them that Yaoshin got injured while saving her and she saw them as his uniform got dirty. Luckily, he ends up believing their explanation and tells Nanami that it might end up becoming difficult to trust her if she keeps on piling up small lies. Tomoko then tells Yaoshin to keep training as Yaoshin really loved seeing her father train. Genokairu then adds that it was Nanami's aversion to boys which made him train so hard and bring out the old album. Tomoko reminds Nanami that she started not feeling well around boys around 6th grade, and her father figures that it must be when he started training as well. They then show Yaoshin an old picture of her, and when Genikaru asks if she's cuter than any idol, Yaoshin wholeheartedly agrees. He further mentions that Nanami was bullied by the boys in the past due to which an accident occurred. However, Nanami still can't remember anything, and Genikaru says that it's not surprising that she can't remember because of the shock. Since then, Genikaru began training so he could always protect Nanami, but as Nanami's blessed with great friends, her aversion to boys has started to weaken, and now finally, she brought home a boyfriend. Hearing this story motivates Yaoshin, and he swears to always protect Nanami from now on, promising to be by her side and never make her sad. With that being said, he requests them to grant them their blessing. While Nanami is flustered to hear this, both Tomoko and Genikaru are really happy to hear his proposal. Luckily, Genikaru agrees to bless his relationship. But Yaoshin believes that Nanami must have not liked it as he blurted it out without thinking. But to his surprise, she is still surprised about what he just said. Nonetheless, Yaoshin decides to make sure to keep her safe from now on and can't believe that something like that happened on their first date. Following that, he tries talking to Nanami, but she's still shocked, and Genikaru lets him know that it might take her some time to come back to her senses. However, as it's already past midnight, Genikaru decides to drive him home, and Yaoshin gladly accepts his offer. Outside, Yaoshin once again thanks Genikaru for telling him everything about Nanami, to which he replies that he's the first person they talked to about her past. Yaoshin wonders if it's fine as they just met, and Genikaru lets him know that he'd gladly entrust her to someone like him. With that being said, both of them shake each other's hand, while Yaoshin thinks that just as Nanami had been hiding the truth, he's not been very honest either. After Yaoshin leaves, Nanami checks out the group chat and sees her friends asking about the date, which reminds her how Yaoshin was ready to go through such an unreasonable request of fighting her dad. She then starts getting ready to take a bath while continuing to think about what happened. She then wonders if Yaoshin really proposed and is aware that her parents were alright with it as well. This makes her think of the two of them getting married after graduation and maybe living together in college. Additionally, she thinks about the type of house they'd live in and how they could go to sleep while cuddling. However, she then remembers what happened last night with her sister, but luckily, Seiya isn't eavesdropping this time. With that being said, Nanami gets out of the bath and receives a call from Yaoshin. She lets him know that she just got out of the bath, which catches him by surprise. Nonetheless, he thanked her today as he really enjoyed himself and got to learn a lot about her as well. Nanami also shows her gratitude and asks if they should go out next week as well, to which Yaoshin instantly agrees. After they are done talking, Nanami puts on her clothes and gets out to both Seiya and Tomoko, eavesdropping on her. Tomoko tells Nanami that she's making that face again, while Seiya mentions that she really wants a boyfriend like Yaoshin. But when Nanami replies that she won't let her have him, Seiya reassures Nanami that she only wants someone like him and not him. Furthermore, she starts teasing Nanami for being head over heels for Nanami. Just then, Tomoko interrupts, asking Seiya to go sleep, but when she tries to argue, Tomoko once again says her name, and this time, Seiya agrees. With that being said, Tomoko and Nanami go to her room as Tomoko wants to hear the whole story about Yaoshin. Before long, Nanami begins explaining everything about him saving her from the bucket to the problems they faced with Shibutsu. After she's done, Tomoko asks Nanami to tell her about the beginning, asking who confessed first. But little does she know that Nanami has been avoiding this topic and hesitantly tells Tomoko that she confessed first. Tomoko tells Nanami that she has only talked about the things they did after going out and asks what made her confess. This causes Nanami to have all these thoughts about the punishment game, and Tomoko interrupts, asking if Nanami was thinking about something else when Genikaru told her not to lie. Nanami can't believe she figured it out, and Tomoko reassures Nanami that she's always on her side, asking her to tell the whole story. This brings tears into her eyes, and Nanami starts crying while hugging her mother. She then explains that she did something horrible to Yaoshin and informs her everything about the punishment game. This makes Tomoko realize why Nanami only talked about things they did after going out, while Nanami can't help but cry even more. With that being said, Tomoko asks Nanami if she really loves Yaoshin right now, to which she instantly agrees, saying that she doesn't feel uneasy or unpleasant when it comes to Yaoshin. Tomoko then praises Nanami for telling her everything, and when Nanami asks if she's not angry, she replies that it's for the next time when her friends come over. However, she also advises Nanami to make it right and suggests being honest with Yaoshin on their 1-month anniversary. Then he can decide what he wants to do. Nanami also agrees to confess for real this time and wonders if it's fine to wait this long. Tomoko lets her know that she must be scared and should take her time to get ready. Furthermore, she tells Nanami to satisfy any of Yaoshin's requests for the month, causing her to blush and tell Tomoko not to put it in such a weird way. Nonetheless, Nanami has now decided to give it her best from now on. How do you think Yaoshin might react after hearing the truth from Nanami herself? Comment girlfriend if you'd like a part 2 of this series. As usual, thank you for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next one.